G'day there guys, just because today sucked doesn't mean tomorrow's gonna suck too. Back at it again with another episode of r/AmiTheA. Now, if you love me like I love you, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, a like on the video, and enjoy today's bloody good content. Posted by user DogLady334, titled, Am I the a-hole for losing my crap when my parents decided to get a dog after I moved out? I've always wanted a dog. From when I was 9 to when I was 16, I asked for a dog every birthday and Christmas. But I was always shut down, saying it was not possible. I just stopped asking after that. I'm 10 years older than my younger siblings. I moved out a month ago to my own place after I graduated college and got a job. I excitedly told my parents how now I can finally get the dog I wanted, and I had an appointment with the shelter next week. Then my mum goes, "Looks like your new puppy is gonna have a sister." I literally freaked out a little, thinking my mother was having another kid. Instead, I found out that they'd reserved a puppy with a breeder, and were going to pick her up in a month. When I tell you I lost my crap, I meant it. I went full exorcist and was screaming at them like a madwoman. Like, every resentment I had just erupted, and I called them some really mean stuff. My parents and I were in tears by the end of it. I've refused to talk to them since. Yesterday, I got a text from my 13-year-old calling me a tramp because my parents were cancelling the puppy reservation. I then sent them a message in the family WhatsApp group saying that if their goal was to completely exclude me from the family, then congratulations, they've succeeded. I then left the group and blocked my parents. My dad knocked on my door last night begging me to forgive them and to please give them a chance to talk. I refused to let them in. Am I the a-hole? This is a very messy family situation. I don't really know where to go with this one. There's obviously a huge past you have with them, and they've probably given you a lot of shtick and made a huge deal about a dog, and then they get a dog and you feel betrayed. I think there was a bit of an overreaction there by you to scream at them like that. Obviously, you can't be blamed for an emotional response to something that's obviously very heavy on your mind. But honestly, by the sounds of it, it doesn't seem like a life or death situation. It's not a make or break. I feel like you cutting them off like that is the wrong thing to do. So yeah, you and your parents have both made mistakes here. They're opening up to you. They're apologizing. They want you to forgive them. I feel like it's not that bad. I feel like this is a redeeming situation. Everyone sucks here regardless. Everyone sucks here. It sounds like the dog was sort of a final straw in a lifetime of being treated differently than your siblings. You were right to call them out, but maybe not in the extreme fashion you did. The cancellation of the deposit with the breeder shows at least some self-awareness that there was some truth in the things that you said. It's okay to be mad and to need space, but you may want to address the larger issues at play, but in your own time. OP replies, honestly, this has been building for a time. I was clearly unplanned, and my parents didn't know what they were doing. I'm resentful that they're better parents to my siblings. You're right, I think I need space from them for some time. You have every right to feel some resentment if you have been treated differently all your life, but don't take it out on your siblings. It's not their fault. If they end up not getting a dog now, it will unlikely have much impact on your life, but it will punish your siblings for simply being born 10 years later than you when your parents had matured. You're not wrong, but OP isn't responsible for the siblings not getting a dog. This is on the parents and no one else. I don't disagree that it's the parents' responsibility, but really, what are they supposed to do from here? Still get a dog and fear OP will never speak to them again? And from their reactions in the post, it appears to me that they do care about keeping a relationship with OP. Or not get the dog and punish the younger siblings. For what it's worth, I think it would be crueler to say the children can have a dog, put down a deposit, and then do a complete U-turn, than tell OP that they couldn't have a dog due to circumstances. What does OP want to happen now? I agree, they should have followed through on getting a dog, since they've come so far already. But again, I don't think this is OP's doing. I think given some time they could have repaired the relationship with OP while also getting the dog. They further alienated OP by backing out and blaming them for it, in my opinion. But hey, I'm just a random Redditor. I don't know these people. Everyone sucks here, but hear me out. Just because they didn't know what they were doing when raising you isn't a reason to cut them out. Getting your lifelong wish after you moved out is such a wang move. No words are strong enough. They just might be that emotionally dumb. But people should be encouraged to grow if possible. And the only way is two-way communication. And they are quite visibly sorry, and judging by all their actions, did not intend to hurt you. Intent and all that. You are not the absolute worst for blowing up, because it seems like the pressure really blew the cap off. You are absolutely allowed to be hurt and take time for yourself and all that jazz. You even have the right to go no contact. But you are the absolute cold soggy donut for hurting them back intentionally. That crap is never on, because you wanted to hurt them, so you did. The 13-year-old gets a pass for this because they're 13 and their brain is just nope right now. We judge others by their actions and ourselves by our intentions. Figure out what you're intending with your actions, then check whether your actions will actually get there. Posted by user Preschool Teacher Throw, titled, "Am I the a-hole for telling my brother that my niece not knowing things isn't cute?" I am a preschool teacher. My niece, 4, has really struggled to learn her letters and numbers, mostly because my brother and sister-in-law think that it's the school's responsibility. I try to teach her when I see her, but I've explained she needs to be ready for kindergarten next year. Most of my class knows their ABCs, can count up to a certain number, etc. Niece has no diagnosed learning disabilities, and when I teach her, she's attentive and wants to learn. It just doesn't stick because I don't see her often, and brother and sister-in-law do screw all. My brother and sister-in-law also think it's cute when she miscounts when playing a game, or when she gets a letter wrong. I don't play along and redirect her to learn. I recently told my brother again that he needs to get on top of teaching her. He shrugged me off. I said her not knowing things wasn't cute, and that her charm won't carry her in life. This offended him, and he told me that I was insulting his child. I said no, it's not her fault, it's on him. Now we're not speaking. My mum says I should apologize. I don't think so. Am I the a-hole? I don't think you're an a-hole for speaking up and trying to help the child. I think you're a saint for doing it. I think you understand the brother and the sister-in-law. And I don't think there is any good way of going about this one if they're going to be in such denial and stonewall you every time you try to do anything for this kid. You've obviously tried to lead by example while playing along and redirecting her learning, and they continue to shrug you off. I don't want to say it's a lost cause, but it doesn't look great. If they've gone 4 years of stunting her growth in her most vital stages of learning, it really doesn't speak wonders of these parents, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think you're the a-hole. I feel really bad for the kid. Not the a-hole. This is a form of neglect which she will have a disadvantage because of for the rest of her life. Just wanted to validate this. My cousin went through something similar when she was really little. My aunt thought it was cute to baby talk her constantly and rewarded her for using cutesy terms to ask for and describe things. So, she starts kindergarten and her teacher notices something wrong and refers her to a speech pathologist and the pediatrician because she thinks my cousin must have some physical problem with her mouth and ears, or some cognitive problem that needs help. My aunt, raging, finally gets her checked out, and nope, everything's a-okay. My cousin was just talking that way because it's all she knew and because her mum rewarded it. She got better with a little additional help in school, but it set her back and made her feel different than the other kids, and for no reason. Not the a-hole for trying to prevent that kind of thing. That's bizarre. There are a few cute things my 4-year-old says that I'm not correcting just yet. She calls breakable/glass things glassable, and if she wants a cup of milk, she calls it a plastic of milk, because her cups aren't glass, they're plastic. But baby talking to the point of others thinking there's a speech delay? Crazy. Those are such adorable terms, aww. I know, right? I love it. She's generally very precocious and acts older than she is, so I'm embracing the cute things she does when she takes a break from being a sassy butthead. Not the a-hole. Teacher here. Two important factors are 1. Is the kid watching Sesame Street during the day? And 2. Is the parent even trying to sing the alphabet with them? The biggest factor for a child's growth is that the parents are trying something to show an interest in their kid. His "let the school handle it" is starting his kid off at a disadvantage. Tell him at least to have the kid watch Sesame Street. I know my niece watches a lot of TV, but I don't think she watches Sesame Street. Sister-in-law is home with her all day, which I get is a hard job, but typically she does nothing with my niece. Niece plays or watches Paw Patrol. Part of being a stay-at-home parent is teaching your kids the basics. My kids both had speech issues, and they still learned their ABCs, numbers, colors, etc. from my husband, with me reinforcing it when I was home. And that was with 2 small children. If she's being raised by the TV with a stay-at-home mom, there's some serious issues. I was the oldest of 3 with a stay-at-home mom, and she always kept my brothers and I learning in some capacity. She didn't simplify her speech around us, but she would stop and explain if we were confused. She would happily read articles with us, and she would explain higher-level concepts to us by breaking them down. I can't thank her enough for being so diligent in doing all of that, because the advantage of having parents invested in their children's education is incalculable. Teacher here. Soft, you're the a-hole. Your intentions are good, but I personally feel, which will be unpopular with some due to the super intensive American learning culture, that no kid will fall behind from preschool. If a child is being exposed to positive and correct learning in school, he or she will learn when ready. I've seen this over and over, and I hate when parents try to force learning on super young kids. Just because they don't go by your methodology doesn't make them wrong, and she is their kid. There's lots of "you're the a-holes" coming down here with lots of very long explanations, and I agree with them also. I didn't know too much about kids' education and learning myself, so I'm coming from a place of ignorance when I give my not the a-hole judgment. Posted by user Della Puta, titled, "Am I the a-hole for walking out of a gender reveal party?" My wife, 34, and I, 33, are having our second child. We have a daughter who's 5. She's been grouchy her whole pregnancy, so her sister offered to plan her a gender reveal party. The plan was that all the food and decorations would be blue or pink, and in the end, we'd get one of those special sparklers that would light up in either blue or pink to reveal the gender. We went to the doctor and got her to write the result in a folded piece of paper that we passed over to her sister without looking. So, flash forward to the day of the party, and the moment of truth comes, and the sparkler turns out to be pink for a girl. I don't know what came over me, but all I felt at that moment was very bitter disappointment. To be honest, all I was hoping for baby number 2 is to be able to toss a ball around with him and coach Little League, or watch him go on Boy Scouts camping trips. I know my daughter is only 5, but I've already started to deal with the dramas of being a father of a girl, and the thought of having to double up now on the neuroticism was harrowing. I grew up in a house with 3 older boys and 1 younger sister. I can't imagine seeing myself be outnumbered. My wife grabbed my arm as people were approaching us to say their congratulations and said I need to look happier. At that moment, I just snapped. I shook my head and walked out to my car. We came separately and drove to my sister's, 21 female, house. I start getting texts from my sister-in-law and my wife saying way to reenact their dad leaving their mum when they were 10 and 12. Oh, God. I felt like that accusation was unfair and that I just needed some time alone. I didn't ask to be flabbergasted, it just happened, and I don't think it's fair that they would have demanded I smile and nod for the next couple of hours. Am I the a-hole? Come on. Yes, you're the a-hole, come on. I get where you're coming from, I do, but it doesn't outweigh the actions that you've taken. In my personal opinion, it's unacceptable the actions that you took. I know why you did them, and at the same time I don't know why you did them. It's very selfish of you to do that. You're bringing a child into the world, and you don't want to deal with the neuroticism of a woman. Why have a kid? Why take the chance then if you don't want to raise a girl? So many questions can be brought up here. Your feelings aren't invalid, but you've hurt more people by doing this. Way more people. Sometimes it's true. You just have to suck it up, smile, put on a face, and deal with it later. It's what everyone does. You're the a-hole. And to do with that part about the Boy Scouts and kicking a ball around, no one's stopping you from tossing a ball with your daughter, or from camping with them, or encouraging them to participate in sports. You are the one stopping them from this. My thoughts exactly. Doesn't matter what gender your child is born, you can still play games and bond. The problem here is OP's attitude to girls and women in general. This attitude that OP has reinforces many toxic aspects of our society. If OP comes to find they don't feel a connection with their kids when they're older, I would guess it's probably OP's fault. Everyone knows girls can't throw, right? And will run screaming at the sight of their first bug on a camping trip. Shock horror. Dude is a huge a-hole for not bothering to come to terms with the fact his child might not be able to join the magical sausage club with him. The odds were only ever 50% in his favor, so there was a good chance he was going to be disappointed. I just told my daughter to give up her softball scholarship since she can't throw, and I'm selling my kayaks and trashing all my outdoor gear since my girly bits prevent me from the ability to use them. Forgot to add, you're the a-hole. And how the hell does someone feel outnumbered by your own daughters and wife? They're on your team, not against you. OP needs to do some deep digging, because it sounds like he's not ready to be a father if his love is conditional on whether he has a boy or girl. Really sad situation. Maybe if his dreams come true, one or maybe both of his daughters will decide to go female to male and will both go pro MLB, earn their Eagle Scouts, and be instantly drama-free, and he can finally be proud. The neuroticism part really got me. Like, 5-year-olds are famous for being stoic and calm at all times, bastions of emotional control they are. All kids of every gender are feelings tornadoes. Plus, big manly OP is the one storming off like a toddler. All the women kept it together. You're the a-hole and a ridiculous sexist. The neuroticism you're experiencing from your 5-year-old? Are you kidding? Get over yourself. As hard as your life is being a girl dad, being an actual girl is much harder, mostly due to men like you. You're afraid of being outnumbered? Maybe try learning to respect women and girls so you don't have to be afraid of them. You need therapy. Posted by user In Between Students, titled, Am I the a-hole for blaming my mother for my infertility? I have had bad periods ever since I was 14. With bad, I mean vomiting, cramps that make me cry, diarrhea whenever I eat something. When I was 13, I begged my mother to see a gynecologist for this, and she agreed. I told him that surely this wasn't normal, and that I wanted him to take a closer look. He basically told me that some girls are in more pain than others, and that I'll get used to it eventually. My mother was present. After that, she didn't let me see another doctor about the issue, and told me that he had gone to med school and he knew best. I didn't question it from then on. My mum always said I had a low pain tolerance. My obgyn says it was normal, so it was clearly my problem, right? Still, the pain persisted, and my mum wasn't any help. She screamed at me when I was sent home from school because I cried so hard during class. She rolled her eyes when I asked for ibuprofen. She believes in homeopathy, which is fine, but wasn't successful with me, and made fun of my dramatic outbursts whenever I told her I couldn't go to a family gathering because it hurt so much. She was a loving mother otherwise, but she just never believed me when I said I was hurt, even when it wasn't about my period. I almost died of pneumonia when I was 16 after getting told for a week straight that I didn't have to go to a doctor and had just caught a cold, but that's for another time. Or that I needed to see another obgyn. I'm 20 now and moved out 2 months ago, and the first thing I did was go to a different doctor. I don't want to go into detail, but I have a rarish condition that causes my symptoms. It makes me infertile. I'm now in a stage where it isn't treatable anymore, and I won't ever be able to get children. Not anymore. The thing that's most heartbreaking to me is that he said that it would have been treatable had I come 2 or 3 years sooner. So, if my mother had taken me to another doctor when I asked her, I'd probably still be fertile. It was hard to swallow. Yesterday, I was visiting my mother, and surprise, I got my period. I told her I needed to go because my period was starting. Of course, she tried to give me crap for it again, and I completely blew up on her, telling her how I could never have children because of her, how she should have listened to me instead of blaming me for my own pain. My sister told me later that I was an a-hole for blaming her when she couldn't have known about my condition. I am aware that I could have gone to the doctor sooner, but back then, she was paying for my medical bills, and if she would have noticed me making appointments on my own, it would have caused a fight. Also, I was told throughout everything it was normal and that I was being dramatic. I didn't know any better. I feel like it would have been her responsibility to believe me that it was really bad and allow me to seek a second opinion. Not the a-hole. It's a parent's responsibility to advocate for and protect their children. You were in crippling pain, she brushed you off, over and over. I'm so sorry, OP. She deserved that for not hearing you. She deserved it big time. Fudging neglected her daughter's medical needs and deserved every bit of it. Sorry, OP. My son a few months ago told me in the morning, "Mummy, my ear hurts." Well, there goes the plan for the day. To the pediatrician we go. Doctor asks him which ear, and he points to the right one. Raging ear infection. A round of amoxicillin later, and he's fine. Kiddo was 4.5 at the time. OP, what your mum did was horrible. I've always had worse periods than my mother, but she took me seriously. She never acted like my pain wasn't real, even though she was a unicorn that never had pain and only had her period for 2 days, while I was lucky to be done in 5. Posted by user SnooDonuts3102. Titled, Am I the a-hole for not letting my friend die at my place? I have an 8-bedroom house. I live alone. He lives in a 2-bedroom house with his family. He has maybe 1 month left to live. His family suggested that he live his last few days in my place due to the amount of space that I have. Now, as much as I love the fella, I'm not a fan of him spending his last few days in my place. For starters, 1, it reduces the value of the home. Where I live, you legally have to disclose somebody died on the property. 2, I have to deal with the fact that my friend died in my home emotionally. And 3, ghosts, although that one's up in the air. Everybody seems to think I'm a dick for not allowing my friend to spend his last month or so in comfort. I am more than happy to pay for hospice care, or even rent a small property until he dies. I just do not want him dying on my land. Honestly, I think this is going to end up causing a rift after his passing. He seems to understand, but his family do not. They want me not coming to the funeral of my best mate. Am I the a-hole? What a ridiculous request from the family. Oh, we don't want our son dying in our care or surrounded by his loved family. We want him dying in an empty 8-room house with his best mate, because that's the way to go. Hallelujah, brother. I genuinely cannot comprehend that. That family is disconnected from reality. Wouldn't you want to die surrounded by family rather than just your best mate? I don't get the family dynamic going on here. From surface level, seems very loopy to me. I think OB's not the a-hole for this one. Not the a-hole. His family is angry with you, even though they've decided to shirk the responsibility of seeing him through his final days onto you? Absolutely not. These people are ridiculous a-holes of epic proportions. Most insurance policies cover hospice facilities. My dad passed in a hospice facility, and it was the best possible place. There are nurses there who specialize in making people comfortable. The doctor was so respectful. I don't know why they'd want to use somebody's house when there are nice, quiet places staffed for this thing. Edit. Comments below are saying Medicare doesn't cover hospice in facility. My dad has a Medicare Advantage plan, so I'm wondering if this is different. My grandmother also passed in a hospice facility. Both situations were imminent death and transferred from hospitals. There are some hospice people posting below who know more. Anyway, still highly recommend these places. Right now in some places, dying in a hospital means dying alone. Many hospitals aren't allowing visitors or are extremely limiting visits. Plus, all the staff are suiting up in PPE, which can make care feel incredibly dehumanizing. It changes the choice a lot. A hospice facility is not a hospital. While hospice can be performed anywhere, a hospice facility is usually in its own building. The ones I've seen are very quiet and clean, and they look more home-like. The staff there only does end-of-life care. If it's a non-COVID death, at least in my state, you can have visitors in facilities. It's worth thinking about. Not the a-hole. That's a crazy request, and you'd be completely in your right to refuse. Feel so sorry for your friend being shrugged off by his family in the last days of his life. It's not so crazy considering OP also offered to rent somewhere or pay for his hospice care for his friend. It's a really crappy situation all round, but in the end, the friend will be dead, and OP will be alive and have to deal with the consequences emotionally and monetarily. Not the a-hole. Posted by user TallFarmer5734. Titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to do any more planning for my wedding until my fiancé apologizes for sending pictures of my dick to her friends years ago? I found out from one of my friends who was dating one of my girlfriend's friends. They had been talking about our engagement, and his girlfriend made a comment about how unlucky my girlfriend was to love someone that was incompatible with her sexually. My friend thought this was a really strange comment in the context of their conversation and asked her to clarify. She tried to imply what she meant, but after he still wasn't getting it, she asked him if he didn't know I was big. He has never seen my dick, so he had no idea what she meant. She then proceeds to explain to him that right around the time we first started dating, my girlfriend sent photos of me to all of her friends because of my size, complaining how uncomfortable she was during sex and in some positions. I had no idea she shared those pictures. I assumed she kept those photos to herself the same way I did the photos she sent me. If I knew she would share them, I would never have sent them to her. I asked my girlfriend for an explanation, and she didn't deny it or apologize. She only said that she was surprised by my size and felt like sharing her problems with her friends. The latter part of this makes sense, but I don't see how she needed to send a picture to ask for advice. She doesn't think she did anything wrong. If anything, in her view, she's done me a favor because her friends were impressed. I demanded an apology from her, and she laughed it off and told me I was acting crazy and being kind of an a-hole for making such a big deal out of a past event which happened years ago and no one cares about anymore. When she didn't apologize, I told her that I was not going to help her with any more wedding planning until she did. That really ticked her off, and she told me I was being stupid and acting like a baby. We're in a stalemate right now. She won't apologize, and I have been ignoring the wedding planning. Most of our mutual friends have sided with her and tell me to let it go and stop being an a-hole. My sister was also one of those people. Am I really the a-hole for protesting the wedding planning until she apologizes? I don't think you're an a-hole in this situation. How would she feel if you're like, you know what, I was having problems with your body image, so I sent your nudes to all my friends, but don't worry about it, they were really impressed by your nudes. How would she feel knowing that she gets the side-eye from all my mates, knowing that they'd seen her naked? It wouldn't make her feel good, wouldn't make me feel good in the same situation if she did that to me. I can definitely side with OP on this one. I don't understand why she won't apologize. Is she in denial? Does she not want to understand what she's done? Again, it's that point of leading by your intentions, not realizing that your actions don't show those intentions. I feel like this is a genuine case for couples counseling, whatever marriage counseling, because they're not even at that stage yet. They genuinely need to do it. She needs to sit down and apologize, and they need to just cover every base. That's pretty much one of the only things I would do in this situation, because he's tried to be open and communicate with her, and she refuses to. So I say the problem lies with her now. OP, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. What if the genders were reversed? There would be a goddamn mob of angry women demanding that the guy apologize. You're letting her off pretty light for what she did. OP says, I don't want to break up with her over this. I want her to acknowledge that what she did was wrong and apologize. If she can do that, I still think we can be very happy together. She doesn't think it's wrong, then tells you something important about her. Putting your foot down over wedding planning details is immature and not facing the actual issues, but you are not the a-hole. You are, however, quite the humble bragger. Yeah, at this point, if she apologizes, it's likely going to be to keep the peace and get her way, not because she feels bad. OP, do you even want an apology from her if she's already made it clear she does not respect you? Me thinks the fiancé was humble bragging to her friends as well when she sent the pic, and that's why she doesn't see anything wrong with what she did, but doesn't want to admit to the humble bragging. Just speculating. I'm not sure I agree with that. Sex is really painful for me, and if the guy I'm with is at all above average, it would be fudging awful. Not everyone wants to brag about big dicks. If she said it was painful, there's no reason to completely ignore that. And OP, if she refuses to apologize? If she doesn't apologize, I don't see how I can go through with the wedding. There might be a scenario where we stay together and work on our relationship if she's willing to put in the work. But I can't see myself marrying her if she really thinks what she did was fine. Dude, she's currently refusing to apologize. I hope this is because she realized what a massive frick up she made and is just embarrassed and projecting. I hope that she does apologize. If that's not the case, I hope you don't wait too long. I'm not sure what my timeline would be for an apology, but as long as she is willing to go to therapy if she doesn't apologize, then I would still continue the relationship. If she won't do either, then I would ask to take a break for a few weeks or a month. If she feels the same way after the break is over, then we probably should go separate ways. Would you believe her apology was sincere at this point? The fact she doesn't think this is a big deal breaker, when in some states it's literally a crime, should be very concerning to you. You need to postpone the wedding at least. And OP replies, I think I could tell if it was sincere. What she says in the apology matters too. If it's a, I'm sorry you got your feelings hurt type of apology, then no. If it's a, I'm sorry for what I did and I realize why I was wrong apology, then yes. I don't know if she would apologize or what kind she would give, but I'm willing to give her a chance. If nothing else, at least if things don't work out, I don't have to wonder if I ended our relationship too soon and without trying to work through this. You'd have to be crazy not to leave someone who cares so little about you or your feelings, dude. You're crazy. It's not that easy to just end a multi-year relationship. I know there is a sunk cost fallacy, but I think it would be crazy to not at least see if we can work past it. If we can't, then we can't. I understand that it's hard, but she's shown a blatant disregard for your feelings and blatant disrespect towards you as a person. What she did was absolutely horrible and a huge violation of trust and consent, and to make matters worse, she doesn't even care. She has absolutely no remorse for violating your trust and consent. She sounds like a terrible person. What you choose to do is absolutely up to you. There's no doubt about that. I just feel really bad for you, honestly. Not only do you have to deal with her, but a crapload of people are victim blaming you. Hopefully she changes for the better, truly and honestly, not just to get her way. Good luck with the therapy and with her in general. Also, don't send her any more nudes. She's lost that privilege. And OP says, I guess my perspective is, at this point, we're not getting married. There's no timetable for it, so there is time to see if this can be resolved. If not, I have wasted a few more weeks or months after wasting years. You know, I think that's fair. I think that's a realistic way to go about it. I do wish OP all the best. I think that's the most we can get out of this thread. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Alright guys, that's where I'm going to end today's video. I really do hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even learned something that you didn't know before. If you haven't already, please do feel free to click that like button, as it really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't already and you loved today's video, please feel free to subscribe. I would love it a lot. Also, big shout out to all my Patreon members and channel subscribers. You guys are all up on the screen right now. I love you. I love your faces. Also, I love seeing you guys all chatting down below in the comments. It brightens my day to see the stories that you guys share, and just the kind words you guys always have for my videos, as well as everyone else in the videos. I love you too. But honestly, your ongoing support means the world to me, and I just love it so much that you guys are able to support a career for myself that I invest so much time into. And you guys honestly motivate me to work harder each and every day to put more love into the videos for you guys. If you guys have watched this far in the video and you haven't already subscribed on Patreon or become a channel member, that's cool, you don't have to, but there are links down below. You can donate any amount of money, pledge that any month, cancel whenever. I'm completely cool with it. It's just there for you to support me if you'd like to go the extra mile. And I'll go the extra mile for you guys by putting out new amazing content every single day. With that said, guys, I really hope you have a good day, night, sleep, bath, time at work, whatever you're up to today. This has been Markee. I'll see you in the next amazing video. Bye.